Daf Ayin Amud Aleph, right by the first line. Ta'iminin of Amma Merav Chizdar asked the question, if someone leaves something for someone else to watch, I lend you my watch to watch, and I documented it with a document. And when I say give it back to me, you tell me, oh, I already gave it back to you. What's halacha? Are you believed or not? Do we say Migudi Bar Amar and then Sumemin? Because if he wanted to lie, what he could have said to be believed, and he would have been believed, he could have said it was an accident. I got robbed at gunpoint. He'd be believed. So Hashanami, maybe he has a migu to say that he returned it, and therefore he should be believed. Or Dima, maybe he doesn't have a migu. Why? Because if I want to tell you that if you want to tell me that you returned it, I can ask you if that's the case, then why do I still have a document? If you would have returned the item to me, I would have given you back the document that recorded that you borrowed it, that you are watching it. Like documents usually work that way, and you would tear it up. So if I still have it, that means you didn't return it. Where I said Marley Mehemani is believed. But what about the good point? So he does have a document. So why does he believe he has a document? Where it says according to your reasoning, why does the document prove anything? Because why? He still has it. If I would have said it was an accident, there'd be no problem of document, right? Okay, yeah, I didn't give it back to you. It was an accident. That's why I couldn't give it back to you. So because in the case of an accident, the document would be worthless. So in the case of a migu, where I tell you I gave it back to you, it also should be believed, even though I still have the document. Amarle answered Rav Chisda, so, but in the end, Ki Amarle answered when I tell us an accident, Lav Shavuabai, he still has to swear. We know in a case of a custodian who who says something happens to the item that he was watching it, he has to swear. So how come over here he's believed? He says, yeah, okay, fine. I agree with you. When I say he's believed, I mean he has to swear on it too. Maybe this machloket is based off of a different machloket. Tanya Berta says, a document, a certification, an investment portfolio of orphans was bought by a creditor, which means the guy decided to invest money with someone else, did a heter iska, basically means I'm handing him money to manage my money for me and giving me a return on it. He's the managing partner, I'm the lending partner. And now the problem is when I gave it to this guy, the guy passed away. Now his kids have the money, and they're telling me maybe our father paid you back. And I'm saying, no, you didn't pay me back yet. The judges of Bavel said, Nishba kulo, he has to swear he wasn't paid back and he could collect it. The judges of Eretz Israel said, Nishba mehza, he swears and he takes half. So, now obviously we see that everybody holds like nadrai. Because why? Because in the case of a heter iska, in the case of an investment, because otherwise you run into problems of interest and rebate. You do a heter iska, which means an iska investment, which means we look at it as a half loan, half deposit. And therefore, that's why everybody says that he's getting half. So now, at least half. So my love baha kamithlis. Now let's see what's the second half part, whether it's 50% or 100%, what's the machloka based off of? The more savar, the judges of Bavel hold that if the guy was alive, what would he say? The guy would have told him, "What do you mean? What do you mean you would give it back to me? You still have it." But more savar, and the judges of Eretz Israel say, and that's why he would be able to collect the whole money back, from the yatomim, from the orphans. More savar, the judges of Eretz Israel say, "No, lo amri, we don't ask him that question, and therefore he's believed as he returned it, and therefore he's only able to collect half of it because it's considered a loan." So seemingly that machloket fits with our machloket of whether or not we hold you're able to swear on this type of item. The Gemara says in different case over there why we hold that. Everybody holds it of case that you believe to say you returned it. Regarding the orphan, the separate. The more savar, the Bavel judges hold, if he would have paid it back, Memar Haba Amar, he would have told his sons. And therefore, since he didn't tell his sons that he paid it back, we can assume he wasn't paid back, and therefore they have to pay him back in full. More sorry, the judges of Eretz Israel hold the fact that he did not pay him back is not a proof, because maybe Emar Malach Hamavet Huda Anse. I'm sure you guys thinking about it. Who says he'd have time to tell his sons what happened? He got hit by a truck yesterday, so he didn't have time to tell his kids. He didn't know he was dying. It wasn't on his to-do list that day, and therefore he didn't tell his kids that that the loan was the money was paid back, and therefore he's not believed. He is believed to say that he wasn't paid back. Okay. They asked the question. Someone deposits money from someone else with a an item someone else to watch with the document. But and the guy tries to get it back, and the guy says, "No, I gave it back to you." Nehemiah believes. And also, additionally, similarly, a case of an investment money regarding the orphans, he swears and takes everything back. Now the Gemara says, those both halachot don't add up together. Meaning, if a guy is believed to say he returned it back, then the father is believed to say that he paid it back before the father would be technically believed to say he returned it to them as well. And therefore, if they coming against the orphans, if the father wouldn't believe to say he returned, then the orphans should also not have to pay back. So why does the first case you're believed to say you return it, and in the second case the guy can swear and take all the money? Gemara says, no, Shani Hatam, the case of the orphan is different. We hold, like we said earlier, if he would have paid it back, he would have told him. Obviously, we don't hold like the other judges of Eretz Israel that said that maybe he died before he had a chance. Rava says, halakha is that you swear and take half. Amar Marzutra is a question. We said halakha is like the judges of Bavel, which is full. Rava said that you collect half, which is Eretz Israel. So how do you argue? I'm not disagreeing. They have the opposite, meaning I agree to the same point. I'm saying it's on other hachamim because those hachamim are the ones that I heard the halacha correctly. Meaning, in my version of the machloket, I heard the judges of Bavel saying you collect half, and the judges of Eretz Israel you collect whole. And therefore, I'm saying you hold like those judges because I heard the opposite opinion, but I agree with you in essence as to what the halacha is. Okay, Mishnah. If I sold the field, lo machar tabor the pit in the field is not included. Lo tagat, not the wine press. Lo teshuvach, not the birdhouse. Ben harivin benishin, when they're not being used. We had this concept before as well. If the seller, if he sold the field and he wants to get to his pit, he has to buy back a path. That's the words of Akiva, because Rabbi Akiva holds you sell something generously, even the land around it. But Hamim say no, you don't buy back because he wouldn't have sold something that he needed access to. Yeah, I sold my field, but I wanted to walk back to my pit. And then if the guy would have wanted to sell back, if the guy wanted to buy back the pit, he would have specifically mentioned it. If the guy, sorry, I apologize. If the guy was selling the field and he says, "I'm not selling you the pit," then even Rabbi Akiva, who holds that you usually would have to buy back, but the fact that he excluded it means he's also excluding a path. Let's say the inverse happened. You're selling the pit only and you're keeping the field. Rabbi Akiva says you don't have to buy back the way of the path because you already included it in the sale. But Hamim say no, you have to buy it back because it's not included in the sale. Exact opposite halachot, because the reverse is happening. But when do we say that it's excluded from the sale? The mocher, when you're selling it. Gifting you the pit, for example, or the field, you're giving it generously. Different types of transactions. Brothers who divide an inheritance. Once they acquire the field, they acquire everything, even the things in the field. We don't say it's excluded. Someone does a chazaka act on a ger's property. He didn't act on the field, for example. You're trying to acquire the field. You acquire everything on the field as well. You don't have to do something separate. If you're making the field hekdesh, you make everything hekdesh, including the items on the field. Rabbi Shimon says, no, you're making the thing field hekdesh. Lo hektish ella haruv hamrukavat hazanashima. You only making hekdesh the field and the grafted carob tree and the cut sycamore tree as well. That's also considered hekdesh. Problem with that, we're going to discuss in the Gemara, is previously mentioned that those type of items are significant in their own right. They're usually not included in the sale. So how come Rabbi Shimon saying over here that if you make it hekdesh, it is considered hekdesh? You're making the field hekdesh, it includes these two items. It will be explained in the Gemara.